Hi, I'm Bill the Geek, and do we have a treat for you today? Hold on to your seats. I'm Bill the Geek, broadcasting not live from Chapala, Mexico, and we're going back to Guadalajara. And we're going to go to 5 places today. We're going to go into downtown Guadalajara. We're going to the Plaza de Armas, and there we're going into the great cathedral. It's one of the biggest, most famous cathedrals in Mexico. We're going to the Rotunda, and we're going to the Plaza de Armas. And we're going to do a lot of history today, so hang on to your seats. To get to our location, we're starting in Chapala. We'll be taking a taxi ride to Guadalajara's El Centro, the middle of Guadalajara. And to get there, it's going to cost us about 500 pesos or $25. Once we get there and we do our filming, to return, we're going to come back in Uber. That's going to cost about 400 pesos or $20. So round trip, it's going to cost us about $45 in travel, just for your information. And at the end of the video, we have a special treat. We're going to go into the Guadalajara Cathedral, but at the very end we're going to go into a small church that is about 400 years old that has some fabulous artwork that is only a couple of blocks away from the cathedral. So if you watch to the end of the video, you're going to see this small church. You'll see the fabulous artwork inside that is from the 17th century. And we're going to take you to a very special place that has more than 500 shops. It's kind of like a mall, one of the oldest malls in Guadalajara, and there you can get 5 tacos for $1 and more goodies. So be sure to watch the entire video. So we're going to start out at Chapala, where the little red arrows are, and we're going to get on Route 44. On a good day, this trip takes about 45 minutes. And it takes you right into downtown Guadalajara. All you have to do is tell them that you want to go to the cathedral, and they'll take you right there with no problem. But on this little small road, if there's an accident, it can take you 4 to 8 hours. Just be warned. Let's go. Now here's a little map of where we're going to go. You take a taxi right to the cathedral. Or you just tell them that you want to go to the Plaza de Armas. And everywhere that you can see that arrow goes to the Rotunda, that arrow goes to the church, and we're going to go to a small church, and then we're going to go to a market. And you can see that all of this stuff is only about 3 or 4 blocks away from each other. It's a very easy trip, and it's quite delightful. Welcome to the Plaza de Armas, also known, and you may as well translate that to the Plaza of Arms, or the Plaza of Weapons. The Spanish first hit Veracruz, Mexico in 1519, and that was on Good Friday. The Plaza de Armas is also known as the Plaza of Constitution, and it didn't always look like this. Like here it's nice and cozy, it's brand new, it's clean. But years ago, in the first 88 years of the life of Guadalajara, the Plaza de Armas was an extensive garbage dump. Or more or less, it was a parking lot for horse carriages. And it was a place for bullfights. They had their first bullfight in 1611. In 1630, they started cleaning the place up. In 1630, they put in a cistern right where the Plaza de Armas is now. And a cistern is just a place that kind of pumps water. So all the people from the village could come and get fresh water. In 1643, they turned the cistern into a fountain. And then they planted trees and they put benches around the water fountain. This square at the time was the largest in Guadalajara. They say the reason that this place was called the Plaza de Armas or the Plaza of Weapons, is that the Spaniards used this place to defend themselves against the people that they had invaded, should they have to need to get all of their weapons and wipe out a bunch of people. Also, the Plaza de Arms, it used to be a place for executions, and you have to remember, this was in the period of the Spanish Inquisition. Now, this wasn't the Papal Inquisition, this was the Spanish Inquisition. And it was used to enforce the concepts of the Church of Spain. They wanted to scare people to maintain the rules, and they wanted to reinforce their power over the people that believed in Catholicism at the time. And the Spanish Inquisition was all about torture. What could you get busted for? Something that was wrong that you could get tortured for, you could get burned at the stake, you could get hung or have your head cut off. Here's a little list of things that you could do wrong. Bigamy, blasphemy, witchcraft, sodomy, sexual intercourse involving anal or oral copulation, among other things. Okay, so let's say you get busted for one of those things. Well, on Sunday, it was like NFL football. So they would round up all the people that had done these things, and they would bring them down to the Plaza of Arms, and the public could watch the hangings, the burning at the stakes, the cutting off of the heads or the arms, or the torture, okay? That was the NFL of that period of time. The powers of be at that time didn't want the Plaza of Arms to have that image. So they moved all of the Inquisition stuff and the hangings to another place down a couple of blocks away, and they tried to beautify the Plaza of Arms and make it a very peaceful place that people could come and enjoy and listen to music, and where men could meet women. The Plaza of Arms became the most commercial, important place in the city. People there would come, people in Guadalajara would come to buy fish, vegetables, and fruits, and do all types of merchandise exchange. The Plaza of Arms is the oldest place in this capital of Jalisco. In 1910, the kiosk that we're looking at now, this green thing with these ladies hanging all around the edges of the kiosk, that was brought in by the French. It was a gift for the 100th anniversary of the Mexican Revolution. And it was kind of controversial because these ladies that you're looking at around the edges of the kiosk, they're all topless, and the people found it very offensive. That is the Plaza de Arms. On each corner of the Plaza de Arms, there are these beautiful women sculptures. They represent each of the seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Oh, and please leave a comment. What did we leave out? What did you want to hear about? I want to thank those people that have given us information to make our videos more informative. Thank you. Right around the corner from the Plaza de Arms and also of the Guadalajara Cathedral is the Rotunda. It's a beautiful place. And the real name of the Rotunda is the Rotunda of Illustrious Men of Jalisco. That's what it used to be called until the year 2000, when the first woman got into the mix, and now it's called the Rotunda of the Illustrious People of Jalisco. And these are artists, politicians, musicians, and they're buried within the Rotunda. The Rotunda consists of 16 columns. These columns support a quarry ring, and on one of the sides it says, "Jalisco to its enlightened children." As you walk around the Rotunda, you can see the 21 presently existing statues of all the people buried in the middle of this monument. And there are 98 niches total available for the illustrious people that will be buried there in the future. One of the people buried in the rotunda is Jose Clemente Orozco. And here's his statue here. What they were supposed to do is put a dome over this thing, and Orozco was supposed to paint a mural, but time ran out, the funds ran out, and that never happened. Now we're looking at the Guadalajara Cathedral, also known as the Cathedral of the Assumption of Our Lady. We got there at 8, and if you look around on the internet, some people say you can get there at 8, you have to leave by 8, but we got there at 8 and they wouldn't let you in until 9 o'clock. I don't know if that's because of the virus or whatever, but we got in at 9 o'clock and it was free. I want to thank one of my subscribers, Rick Reed, who gave me some information about a little history of the Catholic Church and the numbers involved. And it's mind-blowing given what we've seen so far in this video since the Spanish first came to Veracruz right around 1519, or right around then. Since then, Mexico is divided into 18 Catholic provinces. That contains a total of 90 dioceses. There are more than 100 million Catholics in Mexico that are the ages of 5 years and older. There are more than 15,000 Catholic priests in Mexico. And there are more than 46,000 priests, nuns, and other people working within the Catholic Church to make all of this happen. The Guadalajara Cathedral is just one part of this big picture. Now, before we walk into the cathedral, we're looking at this plaza right out in front. And the name of this plaza is called Plaza Guadalajara. And here is the fountain right out in front. The fountain is shaped like an oyster with rose petals, and it represents the two names that represent the city of Guadalajara, the Pearl of the West and the City of Roses. The fountain sits upon the city's coat of arms, which is a pair of lions resting their paws on a tree trunk. And if you walk west of the cathedral, you can see a sculpture that is a representation of the coat of arms. The cathedral was first built in 1541, 500 years ago, more than 500 years ago. About 30 years later, in 1574, some neighbors had an argument and some bullets got into the cathedral, and the cathedral almost burned to the ground. They put some money back into the cathedral, and new construction was done in 1618. The cathedral has had a history of problems with earthquakes. I mean, look at it. It's huge. Look at the towers. It had an earthquake that almost brought it all down in 1818, 1849, 1932, 1957, 1979, 1985, 1995, and 2003. As you can see inside, the place is huge. The main altar is made of silver and marble, and there are 10 additional altars inside. The altars inside are dedicated to Our Lady of the Assumption, Our Lady of Guadalupe, Our Lady of Sorrows, Our Lady of Zapopan, Saint Dominic, Saint Nicholas, Saint Thomas de Aquinas, and Saint Christopher, and Saint John of God. All the stained glass that you see in here was imported from France. Located under the altar and where the choir is are the remains of many bishops and cardinals going way back to the 16th century. The cathedral also houses the mummy of a dead girl from the 17th century. Her name is Saint Innocent. And the story there is, it depends on who you listen to, on what story you get, but they say that she converted to Catholicism and her father didn't like it, so he stabbed her to death. Now, supposedly, the girl was in a cemetery in Rome in 1786, and then her body was set here and there and here and there, and now it rests here in the Cathedral of Guadalajara. And here it is. She's been here since 1925. Now we're taking a picture of the organ. It's way up high, but this is the largest organ in Mexico, and right now it's all covered up. Now there are mysterious tunnels all under this entire area, and myth has it that these tunnels connect 19 different buildings. And there was a big war between the Catholic Church and the government, and the government was trying to get control of the Catholic Church. So the government would come in and just kill priests, and they needed a place to hide, and they would hide in these tunnels. And it depends on who you talk to. The government doesn't talk about it much. The church doesn't talk about it much. But also they found a bunch of infants down in the tunnels. Some people say that the infants were of very wealthy people that well, you use your imagination, and other people say that the infants, the dead infants, came from other sources, and you can use your imagination there also. But famous people have used these tunnels for years, and they were big enough that you could walk through them, ride horses through them, or drive horse and buggies through these tunnels. This is a fabulous place. It's only a couple of blocks from the cathedral or the Rotunda or the Plaza of Arms, and it's called the Temple of Our Lady of Mercy. And it's kind of a different little Catholic place. It belongs to the Archdiocese of Puebla. It is with the Mercedarian order that was established in 1629. The current temple that we're in right now started in 1650. It was completed in 1721. Some of the paintings that we're looking at come from the 16th and 17th century. It's a beautiful place. It's really worth the 3 or 4 minute walk to get there. Go inside and take a look at this fabulous art and the wonderful structure. And here we are at the Corona Market. And this was kind of like the first mall of Guadalajara. It started out as a convent. Then I think they tore the convent down. They made it a cemetery. And then in 1888, they started to construct the market. And the governor at the time, his name was Corona, and he was assassinated, but he kind of started the idea of the market. So when he was assassinated, given that his last name was Corona, they named the place Mercado Corona. Inside you can find more than 500 markets, all kinds of food and things to wear and everything that you could ever think of. And there are many places in here where you can buy 5 tacos for 20 pesos. This is the place. It's a really nice place to come in and look around, buy some stuff, save some money, and eat some very delicious food. Kind of like the cathedral with earthquakes, the Corona Market hasn't had much luck with fires. It's been burned down to the ground almost 5 times. It burned down in 1910, 1919, 1929, and 2014. All of the places we visited in this video, they're all 4 or 5 blocks apart. And they're all fabulous, and the atmosphere is so wonderful, and the history is vast. I hope you've enjoyed this video. All of the addresses for each and every location is listed below down in the description. Please visit my wife's website with more than 200 videos on original Mexican recipes. That's teresadeanda.com. And you can see a link to her website below. Thanks for watching, and please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment.